Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my students. First, um, uh, excuse me for not uploading video for 5 6 days because I was very busy. But now I received a lot of emails from my master in English students that they needed uh, the first paper which I started, and they were sending messages that they needed text and its commentary and explanation. Again, I'm starting. The first video which I uploaded from a Master in English paper 1, classical poetry. I started from Geoffrey Chaucer, Canterbury Prologue to the Canterbury Tales, and I started from text line number 1 to 18. I think the first one which I have already briefed, and they asked me to brief it again. Okay, no problem. The 9 lines I briefed, I will again brief it somewhat. I can share the screen and you can see it now. If you see it now, I can. Okay, if you have seen this screen, you might have understood what I wanted to say. This is the same which I've already described, line 1 to line 9. Now again, because my students, they requested me in some different way. They asked me to, for example, this is the old text. They asked me to include the modern text, and then also I can give the commentary, because previously I just read the old text and then I went for commentary, and they said they did not understand, because Old English, it says Geoffrey Chaucer related to 14th century society, so that was too difficult. The Old English of 14th century society was not like this. Okay, look here. The simple text lines are Old English, and modern English is in bold, in highlighted. Okay, in gray color highlighted. So you should understand when that April with its shower sooty means when April with its sweet smelling showers. Okay, and the draft of March has pierced the rooty means has pierced the draft of March to the root, and bath every vein in such sweet liquor means and bath every vein of the plants in such liquid. Number 4, of which virtue engendered is the flower means by which power the flower is created. Number 5, line number 5, when Zephyrus eat with his sweet breath means when the west wind also with its sweet breath. Line number 6, inspired hath in every holt and heath means in every wood and field hath breathed life into. Line number 7, the tender crops and the young sun means the tender new leaves and the young sun. Line number 8, hath in the ram his half course Gironi means has run half its course in Aries. Okay, and small fowls make a melody mean and small fowls make melody. Number 10, that sleepman all the night with open ye, which means those that sleep all the night with open eyes. So pricketh them nature in its courage. So nature incites them in their hearts. Then long folk to go on pilgrimage, then folk long to go on pilgrimages, and farmers far to seek strange stones, mean and professional pilgrims to seek foreign shores. Line number 40, to fern halves, okay, Kothi in sundry lands means to distant shrines known in various lands, and especially from every shire end mean and especially from every shire's end of England to Canterbury they wendy mean of England on Canterbury they travel. Line number 17, the holy blissful martyr for to seek means to seek the holy blessed martyr. 18, that him had helped when they were seeking, means who helped them when they were sick. So this is all line. This means you have to now I will explain first. I will go to the background again. You can also see my previous video also, okay, and also uh, you can see my old and previous video also, because I explained these lines, these 18 lines in the previous video also, but also you will be able to see. So now I go to the brief introduction of this one again. For this text, you know that Chaucer's poetry is meant to be spoken rather than read silently. The words were, in the old sense of the word, broadcast to an appreciative audience at the courts of Edward III. That was the period of 1327 to 77, and Richard III 1377 to 99. Okay, we today read to recreate that sense of audience. We need to be involved in the active process of listening. To do this effectively, we must hear the sound pattern, tune the ear to the rhymes, and acquire some awareness of assumption shared by his original listeners. So that's the background. I'm collecting these lines to the background. The line I will explain once again, but first go to the background. Chaucer's English was full of sound that we have lost. The word night, for example, would have the K pronounced I, the I sounded as in fish, and GH pronounced as in LOCH, lock. We have to try to recreate the sound of medieval English, okay? That is 14th century English of Chaucer, so that we can hear the rich resonance of Chaucer's verse. So this you must understand what actually you see, two great linguistic and cultural strands that had coexisted in a stratified way in England since 1066 were merging together in Chaucer's lifetime. While Langland and the anonymous author of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight wrote predominantly in the alliterative Anglo-Saxon tradition. Okay, Chaucer's rhymes in the French courtly style. His poetry is, however, scattered, and I think particularly when he is describing nature and the rougher aspects of life, we hear the alteration in the W and S sounds of the first line of the poem, when that April with his showers sooty. So this is when the April comes with its rains. Okay, that's the meaning of that. This fusion of alliteration and rhyme is an important part of the texture of sound pattern to be found in Chaucer. One of the effects of rhyme is to produce a pattern of expectancy in a listener, which can be satisfied in several ways if the expectation and that the rhyme chime completely. There is sense of appropriateness in this type of rhyme. Okay, Old English poet deliberately disappoints the expectation, then the listener may possibly experience surprise or a sense of anticlimax. Okay, we will see later how much Chaucer relies on patterns of expectancy created in the audience by his use of rhyme. So this is very important. When you read it and you understand this Old English, each mean also, okay? When they mean go, so you automatically understand Old English. Another consequences of Chaucer's having an audience is that the poet could rely on shared assumptions and specific knowledge that a modern reader may have lost completely, or at best must painstakingly. This is very important. Research what was immediate to Chaucer's courtly audience is often remote and uncertain to us. Many of us, we understand his pilgrims were probably based on identifiable individuals and recognized types. They were, as one can imagine, the lively theater of audience response as Chaucer read. Some idea of this lively involvement can be seen in the way Chaucer's own pilgrims, you see words need an audience. These pilgrims are made to react to the stories told to them along the way. And this way, Chaucer's spoken words need an audience, and much will be missed if we do not listen to the words as well as merely reading them. There are several recordings available of Chaucer's work being read in Middle English, because there was Old English, people tried to do it, but they actually could not do. And it's worth listening to them to get the flavor of the words, but really, you have to understand by yourself in modern English. Okay, okay. Now we come to these lines 1 to 18 of the text, which I read before. What does it mean? Following the comments in the use of rhyme in the previous section, as I have already described to you, it is interesting to see how easily Chaucer's rhyme patterns accommodate the spoken sentence pattern that runs right through the 18th lines. Okay, you will see then here a marvelous tension between the rhymes of our speaking voice and the stress requirements and sound pattern of rhyme verse. The effect throughout the general prologue is of a naturalness and ease of style, which is at the same time shaped in given pattern and purpose by the rhymes. Medieval man was much closer to nature than we are. Okay, we tend not to notice with such passionate enthusiasm and uplifting of the spirit of return of spring, because here when the April shower shooting, when the April rain falls, so this means spring has come. For him, the coming of spring represented possible survival, okay, of another year. Spring was a triumph over the sword of winter. In the text, nature is compassionate and I think restorative also. The showers are sweet. It is shower shooting, means sweet showers, and the wind breathe. Okay, benevolently. You might compare a more modern approach to spring when we read T.S. Eliot. His poetry is opening to the wasteland in 1922, which deliberately draws in pointed echoes from Chaucer's invocation. So in the wasteland, April is the cruelest month, stirring memories that cannot now be achieved. There is for the poet a sense of lost of potencies, of a dissonance with the rhymes and rhythms of the nature. In Chaucer's case, the upsurge of the spirit is something different, is naturally and harmoniously, we can say, because different from T.S. Eliot, linked to our religious purpose to go on pilgrimage and give thanks. This is the month of April, from every nook and corner, from every corner of England, every part of England, people, they gather because they have to, when they mean they have to go to Canterbury Tales or to Canterbury Tabbertine. Tabbertine is the place where they have to go. So the first part of the invocation is dedicated to the natural manifestations of spring. April with its sustaining and sweet showers has trumped over the drafts of March. Because March is a dry month, April is a rain falling. So that's the comparison between dryness and full of rain, which are as much metaphorically spiritual or as physical, which you have to understand. The whole landscape is emerging into life. The soft breezes gently nuzzles life into the plants, and the young sun, with all its promise of maturity to come, shines benevolently. The birds sing, and so urgent are their procreative instincts, they even sleep with their eyes open. Okay, the bird with one eye open mean, an eye open mean the bird cannot sleep because it's a young age, because it's spring, they are young, okay, they have to breed new one. So that's why they are, somebody says that it's like a square, the next character, very romantic. The birds are also becoming romantic. So nature is one of the on the move. You try to understand people too. Okay, in this these lines of April, whereas birds respond to spring in sexual terms. Okay, Humans respond with an impulsive of religion observance because they, from every nook and corner of England, they go to Tabard Inn, where there was a martyr buried who saved them at a difficult time. So I wish to go on a pilgrimage. The primary emotions of the invocation is of an uplifting of the soul, a rebirth of the spirit as nature. So this is what you must understand. Nature parts its regenerative sap into the world, and man sets off on a spiritual journey. This invocation is the most poetic part of the general prologue. Okay, by the time of its writing, Chaucer had moved into the more formal rhetorical devices that can be found in some of his early work to a style that approached much more the pattern and vocabulary of speech. Perhaps the most obvious device seen in the invocation is personification. Personification is one of the important part of Chaucer's personification. Okay, I'm talking about Chaucer's personification, has how he personified the people. There's more a medieval habit of mind than a literary device, as there is a natural tendency in medieval art to embody abstract principles, to allegorize. To Chaucer's envisages a Zephyrus. The warm west wind is called Zephyrus, breathing. Okay, that you can see breathing. Uh, Breathing invigorate life into the young plants. The tender rooty means small plants come up. So this is new season, spring season. The sun is described as a young sun. Young sun means sun is young, and apple is seen in a very strong physical relationship with the draft of Mars. I've already dryness of Mars. Okay, already explained through the word first peers. Notice Chaucer's extreme skillful organization of words in these lines. Okay, once again I repeat: when the Zephyrus speak with his sweet breeze, when the west wind with sweet west wind blows, inspired hath in every halt and heath that goes everywhere. The tender crop, then small plants grow up. It's a rebirth generation. Okay. But the line through the word arrangement and the sound pattern, there is an almost physical equivalent of the word gently seeking out the little nooks and crannies of the copses and heath. Another medieval habit of mine was astrology. For us, the ram is a quaint, if not lost reference. For Chaucer, it was a significant sign of zodiac. It's a zodiac. Okay, astrology was a serious science, and the zodiac was part of an system, good system that materially affected the lives of individuals and the community in 14th century society. We are talking about 14th century society, medieval age. Particular signs of the zodiac had specific influences on worldly affairs and exercise control over parts of the body and particular times of the day. The ram was symbol of sexual energy. So that's you have to see these rhymes. Okay, rhyme and these rhymes with rhythm are actually very nicely described by Chaucer. He enforced the atmosphere of regeneration to be found in the passage. Chaucer's audience would bring a whole complexity of responses to these lines, as well as simple understanding that the sun is halfway, okay, through the space in the sky allotted to Aries, and the date, therefore, about April 17th, I think. He's mentioning that date. One of the problems of a reader is to determine exact tone of the line. For example, I can describe then longan folk to go on pilgrimage. That longan means who have a desire. Those folk mean those people who are having desire, gone to pilgrimage, they go for pilgrimage. So this is very clear now. Some commentary, I think we see it is a witty comment on the fashion of pilgrimage. Okay, I remember James Winnie, for example, says the long opening sentence reaches its deliberation with the health climax, a satirical suggestion that religious pilgrimages are one of the rites of spring. Okay, and opposing view is that when you see this is very important. This is the time when people start moving to Tabard Inn or to moving to to the church, okay, that place where the martyr is buried. This construction heightens in a way that it is not at all styrical. The difference between the regenerative activities in the natural world and the religious impulses in the human, those who had already traveled to the Holy Land and who rode a palm spring in their hats to denote this, might seek distant shrines abroad, while Canterbury and the shrine of St. Thomas, where this martyr is buried, was the particular goal for many pilgrims in England, okay, especially in the month of April. That was a special month. We soon discover in these line number 1 to 19 that Chaucer's pilgrims do not all have the idealized piety of purpose that we might expect from invocation. However, Canterbury and one on another level leads them throughout a series of tales that illustrates the vanities, follies, and possibilities of the world. Okay, to arrive eventually at the Parson's Tale, and also we can see penitence. Uh, we see a lot of tales have been described. For example, it's described from Knight's Tale, then Squire, then Prioress, Wife of Bath, uh, then Franklin. So all this. So it's enough for 9 1 to 9 19. This definition, this commentary explanation is enough. So next lecture we'll see. I will go for again to elaborate line number 19 to 42. I wait for the next lecture. Depend on the demand because now most students ask me, so that's why I did it. Thank you very much. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.